Good night, sleep tight, sleepyhead. And please don't let the sleep paralysis demons bite tonight.
Ooh, spooky, spooky.
Spooky.
What do we have on this late night Reddit
Hello.
sesh?
This is Realistic Intentionality Reads Reddit, and we have a super midnight special. In fact, it's past midnight.
Ooh, yeah, it's late.
We are in our night owl era. So Dylan and I have been staying up, and we actually were granted another day to do this pod because we could have sworn yesterday was the 22nd, and I was really bummed out that like we didn't record. And then we realized today was actually the 22nd. And
Yeah, I had the 22nd planned for my podcast launch, and I was working real hard on it all day long, thinking that I was waiting until last minute, but really I was a day ahead. And I wanted to get both pods that I have recorded and edited uploaded, and now I think I will. I'm on the second
you
one
may
uploading.
see this
So,
new backdrop. This is not for our show. It will not stay. But this is actually Dylan's backdrop for Wandering Waters, his new podcast. So please check that out on YouTube and Spotify, and you'll see this background. And I'm in his first episode. So, if you like, you just pat me so hard.
awesome. So, what kind of stories do we have picked out for tonight?
Tonight, we are doing it to honor your podcast, which is all about esoteric and spiritual and spooky self-development type stuff. I like how of all the ones to get spooky, it's the self-development that's
Should be getting
spooky.
spooky,
The
what can I
occult, the
say?
like it's spirituality, esoteric, none of that's spooky compared to just like fixing yourself. But to honor that, I'll also to honor the fact that we are in our sleepless era, I figured we will do the combination of spirituality and sleepy wonders.
Realistic Intentionality Reads Reddit.
So
Ooh,
we have 3 stories today. It might be a little bit of a shorter one, but they are doozies. So
they are doozies.
they are doozies.
Heads up, they're doozies.
Yeah. But I wanted to say Reddit has been incredibly helpful because last night I actually had a spooky experience. I had a
Yeah.
really bad anxiety attack for the first time in like a year and a half, maybe. And I had really gone better with it. And it was really bad. Like it freaked me out. And a lot of it comes from I have these things and like, oh, what are they called? What are they called?
Hypnagogue,
Yeah, hypnagogic or something like that.
something.
Hypnagogic hallucinations.
There you go, something
And
like that.
and so there are hallucinations that I get when I'm on the cusp of like wakefulness and sleepfulness, where I like get these weird like visions, and a lot of times they're like spiders or spider webs, or one time I thought there was like an excavator falling on me, and like other times it's like these weird mechanical figures, and I like see them and I watch them like fade away into the walls and stuff. And
That's trippy. You're like
right.
merging dimensions.
Yeah, and it is. And I've had them for the past couple years, and they always freaked me out because I do have a close immediate family member who is schizophrenic, and that's always a big like anxiety factor for me, is like, oh, am I losing my mind, am I like going psychotic? And so when I started having these visions and no one else around me has them, I got real freaked out by it. And so last night that had happened, and then I also have a trauma response thing due to a traumatic event where like if I doze off and like I don't fall into a deep sleep, I'll like wake up and panic. And so I had both of those things occur last night, where I had the visions and then I also woke up in a panic, and which caused like just a really bad panic attack. You were like comforting me, and I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna Google it. I'm gonna Google it. I've always been scared to Google it, and so I Googled it, and of course it was Reddit, and oh my God, it was that's what how we found out the name of these things, and it's a normal thing, and like it does not mean you're schizophrenic or whatever. It's just like almost like dreams that like confuse the brain, and like your brain like signals that you're seeing them, but you're not. And many people have them. A lot of people have spiders and like mechanisms also. So it was like so validating and comforting that I was not alone in my own weird like sleep spiritual vision weird thing that seems so scary to me. And so if anyone does struggle with any sort of sleep paralysis or nightmares or the hypnagogic
hypnagogic,
hallucinations.
hypnagogic.
Dylan, you suffer from sleep paralysis, right?
Yeah, my last one I saw like a sleep paralysis demon on the end of the bed,
We talked about that on my
yeah, like a
podcast,
woman,
on the Real
like a
Intentions
old
podcast.
witchy looking woman.
Right, right. She's trying to
Yeah.
grab your junk.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was like trying to like get her hand off my junk. That's right.
Right. We talked about it
Yeah, I forgot about
on the
that.
pod, guys. Check
Yeah,
that
yeah,
episode
that was
out.
freaking trippy. But I was surprised, like, I didn't come out of that with like as much fear as I have in the past, and I haven't had it since.
Yeah.
I feel like those types of things really feed off of.
Why is Buddha turned around?
I don't know.
Buddha?
Join the party, bud.
That's weird. I'm gonna tell myself that's the work of River because some of these stories are a little spooky.
Yeah, I feel like those things. If you like allow yourself to like if it's a lot, it has a lot to do with the nervous system and like
Yes.
learning to gain control over the nervous system and like have the tools to like be able to calm yourself down.
Right.
And I feel like by by using those tools and just like working out that muscle of like the breath and just all that to calm the nervous system, I feel like it kind of starves that energy,
Oh, for sure. Like
you
when
know?
I've been feeling my like anxiety baseline has been a little heightened. I always notice I get like really bad social anxiety when I'm like stressed, and that's usually like the first thing of like, oh, like your mental health is slipping is if I start really getting socially a lot of social anxiety, and that's been happening, and so it's like I already have a heightened anxiety baseline right now. So when that happened yesterday, it did like send me spiraling. So it is but when like I do have them, not so often, but like maybe like twice a month, maybe if that. Usually I just like I'm like okay.
Well, you have the waking up out of your sleep, like jerking out of your sleep more often than the visions, right?
Well, not it's not jerking out my sleep. It's like just waking up and feel my heart rate's already
Mm.
racing, and that is a trauma response. Unfortunately, I suffer from PTSD, but because of something that happened when I was sleeping, and it woke me up and stuff. So that, but yeah, that will happen probably like once a week, which sucks because then like but usually I can talk myself down from it. But like last night was like a perfect storm of just like a lot of different scenarios and circumstances. Also on my period, girls.
Antibiotics.
You know what's up? Yeah, antibiotics. Had my wisdom tooth pulled. Yeah, so I was like, am I sick? Am I getting a brain infection? Am I just on my period? Am I like getting attacked by a sleep entity? No, I didn't think that. Funny enough, even though like
Hmm.
our episode's gonna dive deep on those, I believe. There's a lot of that. Honestly, when I was trying to look on Reddit, it was like really hard to not just like pick a bunch of like sleep paralysis and
Mm-hmm.
like sleep entities.
Yeah. That like the sleep entities is definitely like the downside or like darker side of like certain spiritual paths where you kind of acquire that as a belief system.
I
So like
saw
the
that. A
same
lot
ex
of people talked about
yeah,
that.
like the same exact scenario that you have, if you had a certain belief system, you would see it as a sleep paralysis demon or like an entity. It just depends like
Hip
on your
hypnagogic hypnagogic
Entity.
entity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spiders.
It's funny. It's like
A lot of people see spiders. That's like the common one.
it's like there's these belief systems you can have, and they can be beneficial in some ways, but then the downside is that like you have a fucking nightmare and you think that you got a demon coming after you.
Right. Right. The brain does funny things. Like sleep is such a weird phenomenon. The fact that we just feel the need to shut down for literally half our life.
Yeah.
And like we feel the need so much. It's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
So
Pretty
why
wild.
don't we dive into it?
Okay, let's do it.
So our first story, and again, guys, this is all kind of the vibe of what you will be listening to on Dylan's podcast, Wandering Waters. So if these are kind of like out here topics for Reads Reddit, but if you like it, please go to his platform. All right, this was posted in r-christian 3 years ago.
Just thought it'd be interesting.
Okay. When I try to be more close with God, I get a lot of spiritual attacks, nightmares, sleep paralysis. Every time I try to be more close with God, I'm Christian and that don't go to church. But when I do, changes in my life to be close to Jesus, wow, I receive spiritual attacks that can be terrifying. I don't think that person's English is their first language. But that was it. That was the entirety of the post. So, but it's really, we're actually going to be diving into more of the comments.
Okay. Okay.
So they said when they get close to God, they start to have nightmares and sleep paralysis. And this was actually a very common thing, especially
it is
the
very common, yeah.
Christians. Yeah. And I
I
had
think
my,
it's very common across the board. That, like when
yeah,
you're trying to like do better and like let go of vices or just unhealthy habits, like it's like they get supercharged and like want to bring you down.
yeah. And even I had a guest, on, I think it was like episode 6 or 7. And she talked about how she was like getting close with God, and all of a sudden she had like a sleep paralysis experience too. So you guys can watch that episode. Apparently, I do have a lot of content on this, but it is like a thing that I saw a lot on Reddit, and it's really interesting because I almost do wonder if it's like the subconscious embodiment of the fear that the faith is saving you from. Like faith is saving you from a fear of the abyss, the void, the worries, the death, the meaningless, just the chaos in
Yeah.
existence. And it's a greater trust and faith in like a divine higher system. And so it's like subconsciously, does that then manifest as like shadows going after you in your most vulnerable state, a state so similar to death, in which like there's void and the lack of consciousness. And so I do like wonder if dreams are all symbolic, then could it be that?
Definitely could be. Sure.
Yeah. But let's see what the comments say. Someone wrote, demons are real. Biggest lie Satan ever told is that he doesn't exist. I hope you understand one day.
That's definitely a common belief system, a belief too. That like that as an idea that like the people that try to say that the devil isn't real or the devil is they don't have the belief that like the devil is like your ego or your darker side or your shadow self. They see it as like a outside entity.
Yeah. Someone came in and wrote, you people actually believe it's demons, huh? Sleep paralysis is a chemical imbalance in the brain that occurs during REM sleep. I've had sleep paralysis since I was 12 years old, and a quick Google search told me exactly what I was mentioning. If you believe it's demons, then why does OP mention sleep paralysis in your post title? Just goes to show that what you believe will influence what you see and how you interpret those experiences. As far as theory as to why almost all people who have sleep paralysis see similar shadowy hallucinations, I think it has to do with the primal fear response hardwired in the human brain. Think about it. What is one of the most primal and earliest fears of the human brain would experience? It's the fear of the unknown, the shadow of a large predator lurking just beyond a campfire of our distant ancestors. This fear of the unknown, the shadow, is manifested during a sleep paralysis episode because of our fight or flight response. Being paralyzed while awake and while having these chemicals released in our brains at the wrong time trigger a fear response. The shadow is a representation of the most basic primal fears imprinted on the evolving human brain in prehistoric times. Once again, this is all explained through science, human physiology, and genetics. I figured this out when I was 12, mind you. Sure, I was terrified when it first happened, but I'm no longer afraid since I know what is happening. When I was a child, I was afraid of my dark closet. When I got older and through an understanding of the physical world around me, I realized that my fears were irrational and unfounded. Crazy how that works, right? If it's demons, then why would these things have no sentient properties? Shouldn't my sleep paralysis demon be trying to influence me in some way? Never has my hallucinations ever relayed anything to me of any significance. Probably because it's a manifestation of my own mind, therefore, there's nothing to convey except fear. The fear of the unknown. Since I've had this experience for my entire adult life, I'm no longer afraid, and I can now pull myself into lucid dreams from sleep paralysis. Why are the demons allowing me to bypass them and enter a place of blissful lucidity through my own will? Shouldn't that be possible without me being a Christian? Or are these just some pushover demons who leave as soon as I realize I'm having sleep paralysis? Please enlighten me.
Did they respond to that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yes. But it's like that is I wanted to read that because it is like that is the science, and I also actually just like said that like I do feel like it probably is some sort of like shadow work type manifestation.
Yeah, I don't totally agree with that post. I mean, I agree with a lot of what that poster said, but I do think your subconscious can communicate things to your conscious
We
self.
also, you and I do believe there are like energetic things. Like you call them entities. I don't necessarily call them entities, but you do believe there are like these these
Like
energies that
energies
are
that
of
yeah,
a different realm that kind
yeah,
of
and
overlay in
they
ours.
can be like connected to you, or like I feel like it can be internal or external. Like we emit energy, but there's also energy outside of us that can influence us.
Yeah.
Just like by other people's energy, or I think there's just like lingering energies from like history, just like past events or past or just energies that can come up that are suppressed within us. Who knows exactly like what exactly is happening, but I think they can be internal or external.
Yeah. And like, you know, I don't know. Like, I don't really know what I believe in anymore. I'm more just like open to like whatever. But I will say, like, even last night, I made the monster out of it. You know what I mean? Like, it it's a negative energy from whatever reasons, from, the trauma or the fact that I like woke up too early and I didn't get into a deep sleep, or because my brain had my little like visions and stuff, and then like it causes fear. But then like if I do pinpoint that as a demon or as an entity, it's still affecting the same way. I'm still
Hmm.
just like building this fear as opposed to just like breathing and letting go.
Yeah, and it's almost like you're kind of giving up your own power by I don't know, if you admit to yourself or like believe that it's a demon or something completely outside of yourself, it's like where does that leave you with choice to do something about it or like to move past it?
Yeah.
I mean, a Christian would say to like connect with Jesus, and I do like I don't completely discredit Christianity as a
Yeah,
whole.
you
Like
used
I
like
definitely connect to
I think you
Christianity,
used
and
Christ to
I
dispel the one grabbing
right,
your
right. I
junk.
definitely in
Yeah.
a situation like that, um, I do have roots to Christianity, and I do connect with Christ on a personal level. Like I don't necessarily like believe and do Christianity the way a lot of Christians do, but from living at the ashram, we learn different chants and mantras to different deities, and the one that I chose was the Christ one, just because I do have the roots to that. So that is definitely a tool in my toolbox, the Christ mantra for me to connect with Christ. And in those moments where, like, because the belief in Christianity is that Christ has power over all realms. Like, he is the King of kings, like the King of all realms. Therefore, like, demons even have to bow to Jesus. And like Jesus can dispel demons like through using his name. So I will definitely, if I find myself in a predicament on the spiritual realm
Might as well
where I
like
feel powerless,
hedge your
like
bets. Like,
exactly, like
hey,
yeah, right.
yeah.
Yeah, I will call on
Call
the name
call
of
upon
Christ.
whoever.
I'll call on Christ real quick.
Right. Someone did respond to that. Since you have no interest in God, they have no further business with you. Demons torment those who want to know the truth and want to draw near God. But since you believe that this is all psychological, they want you to continue thinking that way. Hence why you're no longer a target for demons. You've already fallen into their trap. God has created us to believe in him. He did not create us to find logic, reason, or to try to figure things out. In this life, you have to trust in him and just believe. And once you do, as a Christian, watch, all hell will break loose. Spiritual warfare is real. The devil is real, but so is our powerful Lord Jesus Christ. Yeah,
And I consider that as a concept. Like I've heard that my whole life, and it's not
we're
something that.
not meant to find logic, reason, or try to figure things out. I mean, like, there are like there's the just like acceptance. Like that's more of like the Eastern, where it's just like just accept that all is divine. Like I got it. It's just like the person that wrote that big sciencey answer, they're all like, "But if it's not demons, it's just science." And then that person's like, "The demons already got you." It's interesting. What an interesting dynamic.
I knew that was gonna
Well,
be a
we're an
response
R
from.
dash Christians,
Yeah,
so
yeah. I saw
some
that one coming.
someone wrote, "Sounds dumb, but get a Himalayan salt lamp. I have one on my dresser and desk at work. Death hordes helps ward off bad juju, bad spirits."
That's a good idea. We should put one of them in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've heard of that too. Like, the circling your house with salt, and in occult rituals they do the same thing. Like they'll put salt around. I think I'm not too sure about that one, but I know that's a witchy thing to do. Is like do a
Yeah,
circle of salt around you.
it looks like people did not like that comment in this thread,
Oh yeah,
unfortunately.
of course it's witchcraft. Is probably what they're saying.
It's a nightlight, okay? It's a
I'm
freaking
just saying
nightlight.
that's
Last
probably a
night
response.
I was like, I probably wouldn't have been bugged out had a nightlight been on. Someone wrote,
What are people saying about that one? About
what?
the salt lamp?
Uh, Looks like you snorted Himalaya salt.
Oh my God.
What? And then the person that wrote about the lamp, why the negativity? And then someone wrote, that's the energy you gave. And there is not a salt lamp on the planet that will save you from spiritual attacks. It is Jesus Christ. Try it. Seek him while he still may be found. Amen.
Amen, brother.
Amen. It's like maybe Jesus invented the salt lamp, guys.
Right.
Like if God said, "Let there be light, let there be salt lamps." Okay, and
Right. I
maybe
know. I don't understand like why it's always like got to be this thing or that thing. It's like Jesus can exist with salt, Like
salt
what?
and lamps. Like I think God created salt lamps, guys. Someone wrote, "Same thing happens to me too. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen tonight.
Oh my God.
I was convicted to get on my face before God, which turned into me just laying on the floor. And after a little bit, I sensed an evil presence. I got off the floor because I'm like, I don't want to deal with this again. But I'm going to get back down and pray and fight. The enemy's literally trying to keep us from God." And then the OP wrote, "Let's go," with a muscle emoji. And
I had
update, I didn't get back on the floor, but I prayed. I kept saying, "The Lord rebuke you devil in the name of Jesus," spoke in tongues and told the enemy who I was in Christ. I felt that presence leave and I went to sleep. No attacks while sleeping, yay.
God, I wish there was like some way to know, like, because you know, you hear about that from like all of my friends who are Christian, or like the people who are deep in it, like not I don't know, the people who are like the whole like God fearing, like the whole like when they have the Christianity, but like also have a lot of fear wrapped around it, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to play that game. Like the whole like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I
I
don't
don't
know.
like
I just
anything
like,
that invokes more fear.
right.
And it's like the feeling of loving Christ is such a pure feeling and it is such a good feeling that I feel like anyone could fall in love with Christ and Christianity and these deities. Like when we moved to the Hindu ashram, it's hard not to fall in love with these beautiful divine beings with all these stories and all this worship and all this lore. And it's like it's always gonna feel good, and then there can always be things that scare us because nothing compares to that love comfy feeling.
mm,
And it's just like but it you have to watch out that the things tied around these deities, if they're invoking fear, that's probably not the thing you should be focusing on. Or like, I don't know, just find balance. Yeah, there's a lot of people here that say you're on the right path, it happens. um it's interesting. I mean, I think it definitely is physiological, but I will say that everything's a spiritual experience. So just because something's a psychological, physiological event doesn't mean that like there isn't a spiritual connotation behind it or a meaning to it. I remember I watched this YouTuber and she was saying that she felt so like spiritually stuck in her life where she was, and then she developed Bell's palsy on her face where half her face became like paralyzed. And she was like, I kept affirming that I felt so stuck, and then my face literally got stuck.
that's crazy.
Yeah. And she was like, and she's like, then I was really frustrated. And she's like, I had to go through all of like the physical therapy and stuff to try to handle it. And it's like she's like, but I realized I wasn't stuck at all. And like that's what really being stuck is. And
Mm,
even I can get through that. So, it's like if you're suffering from sleep paralysis and you think it is something spiritual, it probably everything's spiritual, but don't give it such a big
right.
meaning that you can't even control it, and like you feel like the need to surrender or you're so scared to go to sleep or whatever. Like you don't want to give it a meaning that's bigger than what is actually like
Mm.
something you can digest and handle and
Yeah,
chew.
right. Yeah. Like I think that like that person who had like felt the evil presence in the room. I had a friend that I worked with, and he had very similar situation where like he would be at the home like just in bed, and then say that he would like have that feeling. That like I do think there's like evil in the world, and there's like bad energy being produced from fucked up humans. For the most part.
I mean, you can, it's like you watch a scary a documentary about a scary person that did a scary thing right before bed and you have a scary dream. That
Right.
negative energy manifested in your subconscious
Right.
to create a negative event in your life where you had a negative,
Right,
like that's it
but
can be
that's
that.
coming from out of you
Right.
because you consume that thing.
Right.
Like I think these like evil presences these people are filling in the room. I believe they're for the most part like I like somewhat like there is outside stuff, but in that circumstance, I truly feel like you're producing that fucked up feeling in the room from your own self. Like, and there's something within you that you need to face or do or work through to get rid of that. And it's not, I don't know. I don't know. Now, don't get me wrong. I think you can connect to something higher, connect to Christ, and through doing that, you will be led or inspired or however you want to look at it to then do those things.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's it can help, and the right thing to do, whatever, especially if that's your roots and that's the thing that you connect to make better choices in your life. But ultimately, like those like bad energies are most likely being produced by your own consciousness,
Right.
and you're feeling the energy in the room in which you're producing. If you're the only one in the room, likely the energy you're feeling is being produced by you.
Right. Right.
Like,
Or you're perpetuating it.
yeah,
Like whatever. Like it's
through
like
your
you will
thoughts,
always magnify.
right?
So gotta be careful. But to OP, I hope you're doing well. Um
Yeah,
And if you're not, try Himalayan salt lamp.
There you go. There you go.
All right. Our next story was from R dash semen retention.
Hmm.
When you can't sleep on semen retention, you might be leveling up spiritually. Hey, brothers! I felt compelled to write this because there's a strange insomnia phenomenon that has happened to me as a longtime retainer, 7+ years, that I'd like to outline in full, including drawing from historical insights and how I believe it is the best way to navigate it. You may not relate to this if you just started retaining years 1 through 3, but I anticipate you may want to save this for when you reach longer retaining milestones in the future and see if this happens to you. So once you reach much longer streaks and suddenly waking up at 3 a.m. with mind alert, body buzzing, with current and running on 4 hours, yet feeling calmly awake, note, not anxiously awake, I anticipate this is a sign that you may be upgrading. And so he goes on to outline all of the years of in his semen retention journey and how he just would be able to barely sleep and have insane amounts of energies, and how he ended up like making amazing things in his life. He moved to LA and had a 6-figure career, and he like his sleep stabilized after being completely like sleep deprived and only like sleeping for like 4 hours, and yet he would still feel strangely awake. And so he kind of compares it to historical patterns of in Tibetan Buddhism, there's the night of clear light, lucid sleeplessness as karmic imprints burn away from subtle body. Then in the Hindu Upanishads, transition into Turiya, the fourth state beyond waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. Christian mystics call it the dark night of the soul, divine fire, purging illusion from consciousness. Sufi poetry, the beloved keeps me awake, ecstatic love refining the soul through sleepless devotion. Taoist alchemy, the Shen, spirit, stirs as energy meridians realign and the three treasures harmonize. Kundalini awakening from tantric yoga, as a serpent energy rises through the chakras, it forces dense emotional matter and stagnant energy out of the system. Whatever you call it, Kundalini, Holy Spirit fire, Shen rising, or the night of a clear light, the underlying process is identical. A higher frequency entering the vessel and forcing it to shed anything vibrating too densely to be compatible with a new higher version of yourself. And he's like, you might be wondering, if this is a spiritual upgrade, why does it mess with sleep specifically? The answer is simple. Nighttime is when your conscious mind finally relaxes and your subconscious is receptive. During waking hours, your ego is running the show, managing tasks, solving problems, maintaining your identity. But between 12 and 5 a.m., when the world is quiet and your mental defenses are down, your subconscious becomes accessible. This is a window where deep reprogramming happens, where old patterns can be dissolved, where downloads from higher consciousness can actually land without your rational mind intercepting and filtering them. Why can't these downloads happen while I sleep? Because awareness itself is the bridge. When the higher current moves in, it needs a light of waking presence to translate it into matter. You may not grasp what's unfolding, but the edges of your consciousness are still lit up, reweaving reality from beneath your perception. Think of it like installing a new operating system on your computer. You don't shut down the machine mid-installation. You keep it turned on or until it's done. Your consciousness is doing the same thing. Your insomnia is your system saying on while critical files are being rewritten. Unlike a computer, though, this update comes in waves. Sometimes I will sleep at 10 p.m., wake up at 10 a.m., put on a blue blocker glasses and work on my laptop, and find that I'm usually able to go back to sleep around 5 to 6 a.m., when my eyes naturally want to close by themselves. Brothers, if you are in, now he called it glow wake. If you are in glow wake right now, honor it. You're being initiated into a higher octave of consciousness. This is what extended retention builds towards. Not just benefits or superpowers, but fundamental transformation of what you are. Trust the process. The upgrade is worth it.
Hmm.
Thoughts?
That's wild. 7 years.
Your
Good
only thoughts.
God.
Retain the semen for 7 years. So
That's impressive.
the whole semen retention of it is fine. I was more interested in the fact that he kind of like sheds on this idea that when you are suffering from insomnia, it can be a spiritual download. Because that's a big thing that people throw around is the words that like spiritual downloads. Like, oh, you're leveling up, your consciousness is rising. So now you're about to channel in all these new informations and these new programs to then embody. And so, what he's kind of saying, and what other people have said, is that you'll actually develop insomnia to during these times. And a lot of people say it's because you're vibrating so high, you require less sleep.
Mm.
He's saying that it's because you have to be somewhat conscious in order to integrate and these new systems.
Right. I mean, if you think about it, if you have insomnia, you can't sleep, your mind is like racing or whatever, and maybe it's thinking about, things you need to work on and stuff. It's like that's a sort of an upgrade. You're thinking about things that you need to like do better.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, that is you are up. Your consciousness is upgrading.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can grasp that concept pretty. It makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like,
Yeah, for
I,
sure.
again, is it though like people, it's like, buddy, maybe you just couldn't sleep. Because he was like, oh, I woke up at 12 and then I worked till 5. It's like, there's so many times where I wake up in the middle of the night and I go about my business until early in the morning.
I mean, I've definitely operated off 4 hours of sleep for like the past year and a
Months.
half for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Like I'm just starting to get back to getting like 6, 7 hours of sleep at night. But I don't know. I think some people just don't need as much sleep as others. And then also like maybe that wasn't good for me to be doing, but I felt fine. I felt completely energetic all day. And
Yeah.
I'm definitely not on year 7 of retainment. That's for damn sure.
Someone commented, looks like you're having a lot of fun, smiley face. Someone else wrote, before the advent of electricity, it was pretty normal to wake in the middle of the night. People would do light activities such as cleaning or prayer, sometimes have sex for about an hour, then go back to sleep. It was called second sleep. I think about this all the time as a concept. So, um, because back before electricity, nighttime was a lot more dangerous back then. And so during the times of the year where it would get dark so early, people would actually go to sleep at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the
Mm-hmm.
evening. And they would sleep for a few hours and then wake up around like 2 or 3. And they would go about their business in their house, do their housework, and then go back to sleep. And I'm like, man,
Yeah.
what a vibe.
Yeah.
What
I
a
like
vibe.
that. I love that. Like on a day off, like waking up extremely early, like 5 o'clock, going to the gym, drinking some coffee, and then coming back and taking a coffee nap.
Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
love it. I love doing that.
They wrote the natural human circadian rhythm seems to have an inbuilt tendency towards a wake up period starting somewhere around 12 to 4 a.m.
Mm.
Someone else wrote, been retaining in cycles of increasing time periods, and I'm experiencing these sleep patterns. I can relate to this, and I'm pushing through with the belief. God knows what He is doing to and with me, and all is for good. God bless your post. And then someone wrote, you're welcome, man. I had to search relentlessly for answers as to why this is happening to me, and I just wanted to leave something for those who eventually would come across it. The most first year, second year retainers will have no idea what this is, but long timers like ourselves, I wish I had this. Blessings. How long do you think you've went retaining?
Um, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks.
2 weeks. 7 years is crazy.
Maybe a month, but like the longer periods were probably when I was like on drugs and like towards the long-term drug use to where like I just kind of didn't care about it.
Yeah.
Didn't care about sex, or like maybe had lower testosterone from the drug use, or just like it wasn't like a good like retainment period.
Right,
It
yeah.
was more of a I'm not as healthy as the age I am, and I am not having the urges one my age should be having
Right.
type of vibe.
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, listen, the whole no fap thing is kind of trendy with men, where it's like they just like the like idea that it will like do with like a kundalini awakening is like a big one I hear is
Hmm.
like when you retain. It's definitely interesting.
It's definitely not going to happen by itself. Like you have to do that in combination with like
The spiritual
spiritual
work.
disciplines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you they say you shouldn't even do it alone. Like you like to do longer periods like that, like you should be doing other things like breath work and like certain meditations and yoga and stuff to like channel the energy correctly, or like have an artistic outlet, you
Yeah.
know? Like you shouldn't just start retaining your seed
It's
and
crazy.
not.
7 years. I wonder if he's just like not in a relationship or if like I wonder what the his story is.
I
We
feel
should
like a whole lot of the like the trendiness, a whole lot of that is people that like don't have girlfriends or can't get girlfriends. Like
that's a hot take,
it's like
man.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
That's a
I'm not saying
hot
all. I'm not saying all. Like I know of like guys in relationships that do it, but not like a consistent. Like they'll go periods, and then or I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I like to experiment around with like the smaller amounts, but like honestly, I don't know. I don't know. Call me a Scorpio. Call me whatever. I don't know. I feel like that is one of the highest of um experiences on this realm, and no amount of superpowers really outweighs.
That's how I
Like
feel.
I don't know.
This is kind of a weird segue, but that's how I feel about when people tell me that I shouldn't get involved with politics or anything like that because that's low vibrational and I should work on my spiritual like purity and like empowerment. It's like I don't give a shit about any kind of spiritual superpowers if it means I have to ignore the human rights
Right,
violations
right.
or like the crisis that people are in and like the corruption in
Yeah, you
politics.
work on yourself so you can help make the world a better place,
Right.
not
Like
to ignore the world.
not so I can levitate while
Right.
meditating. Like,
Yeah, what does that do if the fucking house is on fire?
all right, you ready for our last one?
Absolutely.
This was posted in r dash best of Redditor updates for you. I know that you uh really like them, and I've been
The
putting
updates?
yeah, and
Yeah,
I've
oh,
been
I appreciate
making
it.
sure I put one in every episode for
Oh,
you.
thank you. Last time I thought you were saying this was for me because it wasn't a doozy, and it turned out to be a doozy, I believe. The last episode, last story.
I have no idea. I have
Yeah, I
no
don't.
concept. I guys, this it's literally 2:21 right now in the mornings. All right, so this was in r dash of best of Redder updates 4 years ago. So I tried to fuck a ghost.
Hmm.
A little.
Ghost tried to fuck me, but carry on.
Oh yeah, true that. First, a little backstory. My girlfriend had just dumped me naturally, and I was feeling rather upset. I rewatched both Legally Blonde movies and ate approximately 2 tubs of icing, but I was still down. One night at around 11, I heard my dog barking out the window. I came to the living room and looked out to only see nothing. There was nothing outside. No cars, no animals, no people, but he seemed more distressed than usual. His fur was standing straight up, and his bark turned more and more into a whine. Then, completely unprompted, he started jumping and turning his head to look out the window at a more extreme angle. He was clearly following something, and after a few seconds of turning, he jumped up and sprinted towards the back door. Mind you, our back door is made entirely of glass, and he ran to it and started aggressively barking at it and jumping up on his hind legs. I've had this dog for 3 years, and I knew this is how he barks when the mailman or any person he doesn't know walks by. I think I'm justified in saying I was unsettled by this, especially when he began running rapidly between the two windows. Dogs don't randomly start barking if there isn't something they feel threatened by. Our dog does.
She's just threatened by everything.
By this point, my mom had come out of her room to see what was going on. We looked out the front door. After a few minutes of looking, we saw motion-activated lights go on. Now, the first response is fuck. There's someone trying to get into the house. So I start locking all the doors and windows while my mom checks the security cameras. Nothing. There was nobody at our house. No animals, no people, no intruders, or at least none that the cameras picked up. My mom and I, being spiritual people, immediately assume it's a ghost.
Where's the sage, Mom?
She's unsettled by this and starts to go to grab the holy water. But I tell her not to worry, that it was probably a bat or something that flew above the cameras. I don't know much about ghosts, but at this point, my weird mix of sadness and sexual frustration had me wanting to let whatever was outside into our house. I always wanted a haunted house story, and I had heard stories of people having sex with ghosts.
I was just thinking, like, how is this getting to the title? Like, how is it right now going to be him trying to fuck a ghost? But here we are.
It was
Carry
so
on.
right. Like I thought it was gonna be a natural progression. It was truly like, oh, there might be a ghost. I want to fuck it. Like it wasn't like, oh, the ghost started giving like a sexual air. No, it's like, oh, there's a ghost. I think
I want my house to be haunted, and I want to fuck it.
there was no segue whatsoever. I always wanted a haunted house story, and I've heard stories of people having sex with ghosts, so I figured I'd give it a try.
Is this a guy?
I don't know. The Legally Blonde eating a pint had me thinking it was a girl
Okay.
who was dumped by a girl, but now it could be a guy that just really likes Legally Blonde and
I don't know.
ghosts.
That makes me feel like it's a girl too. Hopefully it clarifies.
I mean, girls do, and like we do
Oh, I
read
know.
weird
I know.
smut and stuff.
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
Okay. I admit, I probably looked batshit crazy, yelling into the night something along the lines of, "Come in, guys, it's warm in here, I won't kick you out." But long story short, I now had a ghost in my house. The first hint that whatever was outside had come inside was my dog. Dude, the poor...
This horny bitch.
Get
This
your
horny
rocks
bitch that
off
invited the gangbang of ghosts to come in here to fucking.
The poor dog. The first hint was whatever was outside had come inside was my dog. Immediately after the night, he got fidgety and restless and began barking a lot more than usual. The second hint was my door. One night I was resting, and it was about 2 a.m, and I had just finished work. I'm in bed trying to sleep when my door violently flings open. Mind you, all the windows in my room were closed, and a draft would not have gotten it to open with such intensity.
I think this is a chick. Now.
The sound of the door hitting my wall was so loud that it woke up my dad, who promptly asked, "What the fuck is going on in there?" I didn't know how to answer him. I wasn't the one who opened that door. The next morning, he asked me about it, and I just told him that I must have been sleepwalking or something. This continued every single day for about 2 weeks. I knew enough was enough when the hinges on my door began to come apart, causing it to tilt and drag at my door, scratching it.
I don't know if this is real.
This
ain't real.
This pissed off my parents even more, and I too was getting annoyed by being woken up in the middle of every night. Yeah, I mean it could be fake, but whatever, we're in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This
I'm
was
in it, for
still
sure.
written by someone and posted on Reddit, so it makes it to the Reads Reddit. So I, like any sensible human being, decided to make the best out of a shitty situation. I was going to fuck the ghost. Firstly, I felt that it was rude to fuck somebody I did not know, so I gave the energy a name, Karen. I tried talking to Karen through my tarot cards, and then through my pendulum, and then through mirror scrying. Those conversations didn't go anywhere, so I decided to do it the old-fashioned way. That night, like every night, I heard my door slam and open. Immediately, I took off all my clothes and removed my covers. Did I look crazy? Yes. Did I care? No, not really. For a little bit of context, I take sleeping pills regularly to help me sleep, and at this point, they had just started kicking in. My words were slightly slurred, but I turned to the doorway, running my hand along my torso. I told whatever was standing there, "Hey, Karen, wanna, fuck? Because I'm down if you're down." The door just stayed open, so I continued. "Ah, come on, Karen. It must be lonely out there, being a spirit and all. Don't be scared. I won't hurt you." I watched the door intently, and for the first time ever, it began to creep close. I continued
Shit.
and eventually shut. I was terrified, but also let down. If you think being rejected by a human person is hard, imagine being rejected by a ghost. Like, damn. Karen never opened my door again.
Damn, he done scared Karen off.
Dude. Oh, there's like so much to unpack. Okay, first off, the sleeping pills has me wondering if this is a real story, but nothing in this story was real. Like, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like the sleeping pills have just got OP like
Right,
hallucinating
right,
and
right. Just
horny.
having fun, right. It's probably trazodone, because they give you the trazobone,
Oh,
trazoboner or whatever. It's like really common for people who take trazodone to like have a hard on all night.
dude, and like the fact that like they mentioned that they live with both with their mom and dad
Why was he sexually frustrated in the beginning? I
broken up with.
Okay, okay.
And I don't know if it's a he. I'm kind of feeling like it's a she. But
Yeah, maybe.
just like tarot cards, the Legally
Right,
Blonde,
yeah, maybe it is a she.
the
Yeah.
like running on the and then just like the wanting to fuck, I guess. But it's like crazy because they live with their mom and dad. It says that
Hmm.
multiple times, and yet their door's wide open from the
And
ghost,
they
and
just
they're just
spread eagle
like
on top of the bed.
yelling to the ghost to like fuck them.
Come on, Karen, come eat this pussy.
Yeah,
You
like
ghost, sexy Lexi. Maybe she's just pissed because she got the name wrong. Maybe it was Lexi.
yeah. I mean, maybe the ghost just doesn't like desperation.
Yep. Yeah. She's like, you know what? I like a chase. This was too easy. I'm out.
Update.
Oh shit! I forgot it was an update.
I tried to fuck a ghost, part two, electric boogaloo. So about a month ago, I posted about how my house got haunted, and I, as the title may suggest, tried to fuck the energy because that's what you do when you're a sad and frustrated teenager. Things are coming together for
Yeah.
teenager.
Okay.
Well, I'm happy to report that Karen, upon leaving my room so ungraciously last time I encountered her, has returned. To understand this story better, it's important to first establish the setup of my bedroom. My bed, the door are located on the same wall. However, the wall draws back slightly after the part to which the door is attached, leaving a corner for a nightstand and a shelf facing perpendicular to the entrance. On the shelf, I hold various things that I have good memories of, but it's also where I keep my spooky or spiritual artifacts. It's mostly candles, an incense burner, and my tarot cards. I also had a pine cone up there because I like to decorate for the seasons, but I'm also very lazy and forgot to put things away. This shelf and the nightstand as a whole are about 4 feet away from my bed. I sleep on a queen size and like to sleep on the edge furthest away from my door. I developed this habit around the same time my door began flinging open in the middle of the night. The distance from my shelf to that side of the bed is likely around 10 feet when accounting for the elevated angle. It had been weeks since anything even remotely paranormal had occurred in the house. This person has straight up sexually harassed that ghost back out of the house. It had been weeks since even remotely paranormal had occurred in the house, so my sleeping pattern had returned to normal. I was sleeping when suddenly I was awakened by a dull pain in my head and loud crashing sound next to me. The sleeping pills I usually take were still going strong, and so rather than immediately getting up, I lethargically felt around my bed for what had hit me. I managed to get a hold of something lightweight in my bed next to me. I rolled over and turned my phone on for light. It was a pine cone. I shined the light to see that one of my candles, I keep on the opposite end of the shelf from the cone, had fallen over. I checked the time, 3:07. My first thought was the story my brother told me when we went on vacation over the summer. My parents were complaining of weird dreams and of waking up in the middle of the night. My brother told them if you wake up at 3 in the morning, it means someone is watching you. Karen? But this time, unfortunately, I couldn't stay awake long enough to make any moves. I immediately fell back asleep. When I woke up, I saw the pine cone and then I saw the candle, and there was no reasonable way that pine cone could have fallen 10 feet diagonally off a shelf and hit me on the head with such force without being prompted by anything. Naturally, I was frightened, but at the same time, excited. This was it. This was the second time of redemption. I was going to fuck a ghost and I was going to do it right. That night, I set up everything. I had my candles laid out. I had arranged rose petals and lavender in a way that my extended family told me associated with love. In a way, my extended family told me was associated with love.
There you go. Maybe she just needed to set the
Wine and
mood.
dine.
Yeah.
I put on a robe and had my cards ready, and after everyone in his house was asleep, I invited Karen into my room. I said some prayers, I meditated, I tried all the casting methods, and my extended family told me about. Okay, what extended family is helping OP seduce a ghost?
I don't know, but I like it.
Tried all the casting methods my extended family had told me about. Nothing. I was about to give up on the whole thing when, I shit you not, one of the candles blew out. I didn't quite know how to react to that, but I knew that it meant I was not alone in that room anymore. I called out to the air, Karen, look, man, I'm sorry I must have made a terrible first impression, and I'm sorry if I scared you away. I'm going to be straight with you. I'm currently single, and I've always wanted to, how do I say this politely, indulge in the otherworldly pleasures. So I guess if at any point, if you want to, fuck, I'm down. I waited for another sign of presence, but there was nothing. I decided that I was rejected yet again and turned my light back on and blew out my candles. I went to the bathroom to brush my teeth, leaving my lights on and my bedroom door slightly open. When I left my bathroom, my door was fully closed. Curious. I opened it. All my lights were turned off. Nice. You guys might think I'm a little strange for this, but I was so unbelievably happy to see this. Okay, Karen, I see you. Just hold on. I'm going to get a glass of water and then we can do whatever you want, I tell the air. So I leave through my almost entirely pitch black living room and fill up my water bottle from the filter in the kitchen. I glance out onto the living room while it's slightly illuminated by a light from the kitchen. Out of the corridor where the bedrooms are, I see a tall, very lanky shadow walk out. I jump. I grab my water bottle tighter, getting ready to throw it or fight it, hit it, or fight back in case it's a robber or something. I don't know how long I watched it stand there, but I remember its shape very distinctly. It was taller than me, so probably around 6 feet. It was thin, very long legs, and what unsettled me more was its head because it was much longer and taller than a person's head should be. I know this sounds very cliche, but the best I can describe of how she looked like, I don't really know how to react, but I probably looked terrified. I watched her slowly phase back into the dark. It has been a week since I've seen Karen, but let me tell y'all, that is not what I expected her to look like. I think I was catfished by a ghost. I'll keep you updated if she comes back.
Tell me there's another update.
Well, someone commented, I'm still awaiting confirmation that you're just a very good comedy story writer or if you're out of your mind.
Both.
Comments. There was no update.
Okay.
They probably were found dead somewhere. Because that was some skinwalker type shit that they summoned.
I know, right.
In what fucking world do you just summon anything to fuck you?
Yeah. Like whatever's out there, come on. I invite you in. That's crazy.
Comments. So imagine your kid's grandmother in a spiritual form who has passed away from emphysema, and you're doing your grandmother duty of checking in on your family for a few years before heading up to the great cribbage match in the sky. You pop in to check on your favorite goofy grandson, and then he propositions you, jutting his teen peen into the sky repeatedly, asking if you're down to fuck because he's single. Just imagine that. Would you also throw a pine cone at him?
Okay, so it's a boy, or this person's assuming it's a boy.
Yeah, anyways? I think it's just assumptions. Someone responded to that. I'd probably throw some clothes on him, but who am I to judge?
That'd be funny.
Someone else wrote, Slender Man is just embarrassed for the dude. Shutting all the lights off is a signal. He's being shut out. He's not welcome to fuck the ghost. Stop trying to cross the poor ghost boundaries, man. For real. Someone else wrote, coercion is not consent. Please respect a ghost's right to fright without it being sexually harassed. Someone else wrote, all I could think is, if your dog doesn't like him, neither should you. That counts for non-corporeal beings, right? Someone responded, yeah, I don't fuck humans my dog doesn't trust. Don't know why you'd start with ghosts.
Oh man, that was a good one, babe. That was a freaking good finisher, man. That's a good one.
This was the one that made me realize that we should only do 3 stories. Because I was like, I need to read, because it was so long, and I was like, I need to read this one.
Right.
Someone else wrote, After reading the headline, I was like, okay, let's see what this is actually about. No way this is someone literally trying to fuck a ghost. How wrong I was. That's like, literally, we thought there would be some segue, and it was just like, oh, dog was freaking out. I want to fuck a ghost. And like, just A to Z. Wow, just because she's taller than him. Men are so shallow. This person actually believes in tarot cards and scrying. I can just imagine the parents weeping while listening to their child trying to seduce a ghost through the wall. In canon, mom believes in ghosts too, so I doubt they're disappointed. Okay, here's the comment I was looking for. The fistful of sleeping tablets definitely had nothing to do with the paranormal sightings, did they? If this does not discourage ghosts from haunting houses, boarding horny single people, I don't know what will. Setting aside the everything else, I was a bit mad that they invited a ghost in for sexual purposes, even though it made their dog anxious. How is that any different from getting a shitty boyfriend that's mean to your pets?
Right.
Yeah. Well, someone wrote, update 2, I impregnated a ghost.
I impregnated a ghost.
So comments seem to think it's a male.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
There was no correction.
To me, a red girl because of the Legally Blonde and all the tarot cards and the...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like girls can be horny too.
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
Yes, they can.
So, you know.
That was a good one. That was a good episode. I like that. I think I'm gonna share this on my new
I like
pod.
how you're saying this in the episode.
Yeah.
We haven't even signed off yet.
Yep. Nope. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be like a crossover. We're gonna do like a. Yeah, we're gonna do a crossover.
I love how just the most unhinged. I was like, we were trying to figure out what to do these stories on. And I was like, we could do spirituality to like, you know, promote your thing. And I'm like, but we're also in the middle of the night, so we should do pajamas sleepover. And I was like, I'm just gonna do both. I'm gonna look for like spirits and sleep, which naturally led with us ending with them trying to fuck a ghost.
Nice. I love that. I love that ending. It went from 7 years of retainment.
Well, Christian demonology.
Yeah.
To then semen retention. Yeah.
The dissension was real.
I had literally just looked up these Reddit stories at like 1 a.m. So
Yeah. We kind of decided last minute.
This whole episode has been imbued and embodying just mid evening vibes.
Right after.
Not like midnight.
Big old pot of ramen.
Yeah. Ramen and trying to get River to sleep forever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, that was fun.
Yeah. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed those scary, spooky, horny sleep stories. And if you do like all of the spirit side of it, please check out Wandering Waters with Dylan King, his podcast.
Yes. Come on over. It's not just spirituality and spooky things. It's going to be a wide array of topics, but those definitely fall within the categories for sure.
Yeah.
And we'd be glad to have you over there. Join the crew. Yeah.
You'll see me there in the first episode. You'll see a friend of the Real Intentions podcast, Josh. He's also going to be premiering. So
yep, he's planning on coming on a lot. We're going to dive deep into some symbology in the Bible and numerology within the Bible, all kind of biblical stuff. So
cool.
That'll be fun.
You can have me on, and we'll talk about whether or not we'd fuck a ghost.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That sounds.
I would not.
Party.
If anyone who knows me knows that I aliens, entities,
I
whatever.
Maybe fucked a ghost.
I will not mess around with ghosts. That is where I draw a line. You actually do have funny stories about. That's funny. I kind of like forgot about that until like we got into this. I was like, oh yeah, Dylan has sleep paralysis and demon and like, these all almost related to you.
Right.
Like I've handpicked them for you.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Subconscious powers, man. I was like just desperately trying to find stories, and
those are some good ones. Those are some really good last minute thrown together stories for sure.
There you go.
Yeah, it was very relevant. Yeah.
All right,
Awesome.
everyone, please have a good day or night whenever
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
listening
yeah.
to this. Please remember that you deserve to create the life that you exist for, and whatever is keeping you up at night, don't give it that power
Mm.
or have sex with it.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
whatever you
Or
need
call
to,
on Jesus.
or call on Jesus. Do whatever.
You know
But
what?
just know that you are good and you deserve a good night's sleep.
Yes.
And please watch
Yes,
Wandering
yes,
Waters,
yes, yes. Please do
and
that.
we'll see you for the next one.
See ya.
Bye.